When you're jostling for space with 1.2 billion people, owning a piece of land, however small, or 4 walls with a roof halfway decent becomes a big dream. Will you be able to fulfill the dream of owning a home in 2013? Will prices continue to rise or moderate? Will quality of what you pay for get better? Will your experience of buying a home get cleaner and happier? These are the questions at the top of our mind as we head into a brand new year. Welcome everyone to our special year-ender, where we look back to the residential real estate market of 2012 and get the country's top experts to look forward. Let me introduce my panelists to you. Pranav Datta, Chairman, Knight Frank India. Pranav, welcome to the show.
Nice to be with you.
Vyomesh Shah, Managing Director, Hubtown Limited, who will give us a Mumbai perspective and, of course, other key markets that they're present. Raj Minda joins us from Bangalore, Managing Director, RMZ Group. Raj, thanks for making the time. We also have with us in the Delhi studio, Vineet Singh, Business Head, 99acres.com. Pranav Ansal, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Ansal Properties. And Sameer Jasuja, Founder and CEO of Prop Equity, without whose research this show probably won't be possible. Thanks very much, gentlemen, all of you. It's a great wrap out for 2012. So I'm going to just look at some of the key trends. Investor sentiment in 2012, what was it? Well, it was subdued if you look at the overall market, though home prices in several cities and markets continue to rise. PE investments in real estate dipped by 15% during the first 9 months of 2012 compared to the previous year's same period. But clearly, the moolah to be made in real estate is in residential because the maximum investor money went into these projects. Debt remained a big concern for several leading developers and many remained cash-strapped in 2012. Public markets, private equity, debt, well, all of them were closed, literally. Despite all the above, prices in most markets refused to come down, and we are talking about homes and residential. No big correction was seen in any of the major markets. Hyderabad remained muted, but the rest just grew, whether it was 8% or 20%, but they all went up. Developers instead tried to offload through discounts, freebies, etc. We'll find out how useful or effective they were. The absorption figures for the month of October witnessed a drop of around 28% in MMR and 16% in Gurgaon. We'll bring you data of other cities as well. But let's kickstart this discussion. Pranav Datta, first question to you. 2012 seemed to be a challenging year. And, you know, you read any newspaper headline and some that I've shown on the show, it seemed that the industry was under a lot of duress. Yet residential markets, capital values continue to go up. Why is that?
Well, as you rightly put it, 2012 is perhaps one of the most forgettable years for the real estate market, you know. Residential demand remains subdued. Commercial has gone down also from the levels of 37 million or 40 million to just about sub 30 million square feet. Retail is no great shakes either, although of late there has been some amount of sentiment boosting measures announced by the government of India, you know. And in all this, what we have seen that while prices have remained virtually steady to marginal increase, demand has been slipping, putting the stakeholders, the principal stakeholders, namely the developers, under tremendous amount of stress, you know. So we find that operating profits remain flat, turnovers remain flat, but profits, that is profits after interest, have dropped and dropped dramatically, you know. While this is true for the industry as a whole, if you take into account, let's say, the top 25 and 26 developers of the country, you know, different regions show different kinds of trends, you know. While we do see South has bounced back somehow, and West seems to have plateaued on, maybe in the West one could perhaps visualize that the bottom has been kind of touched. The North is in the grip of a major slowdown, you know. The debt levels remain horrendously high, almost of 40,000 crores or above for these 25 developers. For the top developers, it's about 35,000 crores. Interest cover has dropped, and I think we are seeing a precarious situation for the industry as a whole. So if the top 26 developers are in this state, one can imagine the fate of the others. So in such a situation, when demand is slow, it's rather anomalous that the prices have not corrected, and there are, I'm sure, other contributory factors to prices remain steady or having inched up, I think insofar as city center properties are concerned, the prices may not have moved up. They have definitely not moved down. But if you were to look at, compare it with 2010 or 11, city-centric properties like Mumbai may have seen a small drop. But it is in the outlying suburbs where demand is still pretty robust, because they seem to be, the developments in those areas are in the 25 to 75 lakh bracket. Since the sales are brisk, prices may have moved up. It's actually arising out of the fundamental factor of supply and demand. But overall, I would say that compared to the peak levels, the launches as well as absorption during the current year 2012 compared to 2010 is almost, if I am correct, between 50 to 60%. So all in all, not a very happy situation. And unless some corrective measures are taken at an industry level, I would say that things are perhaps going to remain more or less similar, at least till the middle of 2013 is concerned.
All right. So let me then shoot a question to Vyomesh. Vyomesh, curious that capital values of real estate continue to rise in most parts of the country. Mumbai specifically, if I look at the inventory overhang figures, which I've been told at the start of doing a real estate program is a very key data to look at. You have high inventory overhang, yet you have prices rising in every market. So what's going on?
While I agree with Mr. Pranav that whatever he has analyzed was true for the first half of 2012. As a developer and involved in the business, I can tell you that by middle of the 2012 and practically in last quarter of 2012, the demands have started picking up. This has started picking up because there was always, and I'm talking of Western India where we operate a lot, and I'm not talking of rest of the India, but Western India where we operate a lot, we have seen that the demand which was always there was subdued, or which was becoming not conversion into the actual sale, because people were expecting prices to drop. And when they realized that the prices are not dropping, that the people who were sitting on the fence, and there were a large number of them, started getting converted into the actual sales in the last quarter of 2012. If you really see, we talk about large inventories of the developers, and we have tremendous numbers which are coming out, like in MMR region, there are some 7 million square feet lying vacant and all those things. And we have done this survey on behalf of Maharashtra Chamber of Housing Industry. And to your surprise, you will be surprised to know that the numbers which are being thrown in are all about the projects which are likely to be doing in next 3 to 5 years. Practically no developer in this MMR region of Mumbai and around, and Western Maharashtra or Western India for that matter, has large inventory of ready stock available with anybody. If you take a Mumbai developer, practically nobody has a ready stock. Everything is under construction. If you take Pune, there is hardly marginal ready stock available with the people. If you take MMR region, again the same situation. So what is important for you and everybody to understand, that if there is not a ready stock available in the market, and the permission is becoming more and more difficult, and it is becoming more and more longer because of more and more bureaucratic hurdles being put into clearing any residential or commercial projects. With this kind of situation, it is impossible for the prices ever to come down. And mind well, as a developer, our interest is to see that the prices really remain at a more than reasonable level, or at a reasonable level, because that's the only way the volume will increase.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.